Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Muggle Minute Wizards Unite podcast. I'm here with Poke Fodder again. We're on episode 4. How is it in California? Still raining and stuff?
It actually is going to rain some more tonight. So we have seasons in California. Everybody says that there's no seasons here. There are. It's hot, it's perfect, and then there's the rainy season. So those are your three seasons. And December, January, February are kind of the rainy season. So,
Mm-hmm. Well,
but other than that, it's perfect.
I think they would like to release a game, a geolocation-based game on rainy season in California, which
No, probably not.
no, probably not. Yeah. So, anyways, ever since our last episode, a few things happened in,
Yeah,
the whole Wizards Unite thing in general. So let's talk about them. So the biggest thing that kind of happened was the third trailer, right? The Niffler trailer.
for sure.
So they kind of did it a bit differently this time. They actually, instead of just releasing the trailer, they actually gave a lot of creators access to the trailer beforehand and have them kind of, push it and uh, uh, just give them an opportunity to talk about it before Wizards Unite officially even like tweet about it. Like, when was the tweet? After it was like 2 or 3 days after the content creators get to push them out. I,
Yeah, they
mm-hmm,
released a tweet with just a still image of a Niffler,
mm-hmm,
and then and I want to say that that was on the 13th,
mm-hmm,
and then that same day, I was actually fortunate enough to be one of those content creators that got
mm-hmm.
a sneak peek of the video and early access to it, and then we were told, you can't post this before the 14th at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And I was like, cool. And a handful of us were all chatting on the side, like, wow, like this is crazy. But we all expected, we all expected Niantic or
Mm-hmm.
Warner Brothers to post the video. And then we were just having early access so we could do reaction videos as soon as this dropped.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny on Discord. A group of us have a little chat, um, so we can kind of go over things within this these emails. And at 9 o'clock, we started posting,
Mm-hmm.
and we're looking around the social medias, and Niantic isn't posting about it, and Warner Brothers isn't posting about it, and we all panicked. We're like,
Yeah.
"Oh my gosh, did we do this on the wrong date?" Like everybody went back and looked, like, "Wait, were we supposed to do this today or tomorrow?" And
That's
so it was
hilarious.
kind of funny watching the whole thing go down, where everybody's like, "No, it said today, but why didn't they post about it?" And the official trailer actually came out on the 15th. So what
Mm-hmm.
ended up happening, and this is really unique. I've never seen this in my experience with content creators and games, where they kind of let the content creators have the glory at the beginning, which I, as a content creator who had that opportunity, I'm like, wow. And I actually sent my contact at Warner Brothers an email, and my email just said, like, when the smoke had cleared from all this, and we kind of realized, wait, they're not posting it today. I sent him an email and I said, hey, I'm pretty sure that this wasn't by mistake, that you guys actually aren't posting your video at all today. And I just said, hey, I think that's really cool, and I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to kind of be the front runners on this. And it turns out the funny thing is if you watch a little self plug here, but if you watch the video
Mm-hmm.
that I did on this, I had no idea people weren't going to see the video that morning.
Yeah.
So my understanding, what I assumed is they would release the video at 8 o'clock on the 14th in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and then an hour later we were all allowed to drop our reaction videos. And
Mm-hmm.
so, you know, when in my video, I read the letter that we received. And now that I'm looking back on it with 2020 vision, there's a line in there about you've been selected because of your expertise in wizarding, blah, 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 blah. Use
Mm-hmm.
your Muggle technology to help spread the word about this discombobulated Niffler.
Uh-huh.
And so now that I'm looking back on this with 2020 vision, knowing what transpired, I was like, wait, not everybody was getting that letter. That was just for us content creators, giving us the go ahead. They were telling us basically, you guys are going to get the spotlight on this.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very sneaky of them. And the thing is none of the content creators that were putting this out are major players that it wasn't like Trainer Tips Nick, it wasn't like
Uh-huh.
Mystic Seven, who have a huge following for another Niantic game.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bunch of, I don't think anybody has over 10,000 subs. I don't even think. Oh well, Ghost Shiny Hunter does.
Yeah.
He has like 25,000, so he's pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
But in the grand scheme of things, 25,000 is not huge, and so I thought
Mm-hmm.
that was pretty cool uh, gesture that Warner Brothers A was willing to take that risk with content creators, help get the word out. And I think it just kind of shows how far content creation has come as it relates to mobile games. And it was a really cool experience, a lot of panic, a lot of excitement. And as such, a lot of us are newer to content creation. So we haven't
Mm-hmm.
really had experience launching a game before. And so it was kind of like, wait, what do you have? Okay, well, that's what I have. Wait, did we all send this right? Oh my gosh, did we screw up the one opportunity that we've had to get inside information, and we all posted it on the wrong day? And so at the end of the day, looking back at it, it was like, wow, that was super cool of them to do, and it's definitely unique, a unique way of
Mm-hmm.
approaching putting information out there as far as an upcoming game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that definitely was something new, and like, uh, 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 like you said, like, I was expecting like they'd give you guys the trailer so you guys could like make it beforehand, and then they'll let you guys post it at a time when they like at least have it up at the same time as you guys. That's
Right.
yeah. We also work with Ludia, and what Ludia usually does is, for example, the 1.6 test server stuff. They let
Hmm.
us create all these this content beforehand, but like we have to wait until 1.6 actually goes live before we could
Right.
actually post all this content. Like we also they also contact us at MetaHub for all the weekly dinos for following weeks and stuff, and yeah, we get it like 2 or 3 days beforehand usually before they post it, and like we can only post it when they drop it on their social media, which
Right. Right.
yeah, that's really different from the approach Warner Brothers is taking, which is honestly a really big gamble for them. Like, I, I think it's so far it's paying off, but um, you know, like they don't know too much about these creators, but they're willing to give these people a shot at pushing out this content before them, and really see how much influence they could garner up in this community, especially for an upcoming game.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
and and a game as big as Wizards Unite,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of hype around this, and I something that I think has kind of gone under the radar about all this,
Hmm.
but that you and I have actually talked about and struck a chord with me right off the bat, is the fact that Warner Brothers is the one that was reaching out, not
Hmm.
Niantic. If you look at
Yeah.
Pokemon Go, Niantic seems to be the one driving the influencers, and like the summer tour squad that they had, and
Hmm.
inviting Nick out to different events. I feel like Niantic is out in front working with content creators, and that's not the case with this game, at least
Hmm.
as of yet. And that makes me think that yes, Niantic is the one that is developing the game, like they're the developers, but I almost feel like Warner Brothers is the one that's out in front, if that makes sense. Where I don't think that the Pokemon Company is calling the shots with Pokemon Go. I
Hmm.
feel like just based off of this one thing, I feel like maybe Warner Brothers is the one that's calling the shots as far as release date commercials,
Mm-hmm.
teaser trailers, any of that kind of information. And I think that's a switch. And I think most people didn't necessarily think that would be the way it was. That they thought Niantic was going to be the one that was going to be
Mm-hmm.
dropping this. So who knows? Maybe that's why we're seeing things a little bit differently now.
Yeah, and I using the Jurassic World Live example again, since that's the only context I have. But Jurassic World Live, we were I don't know about you, but I was never approached by Universal at all. Like everything
No,
was done through Ludia. Like, I mean, well, the hats were from Universal and Ludia both, but other than that, yeah, it's usually the developers who contact us, or
right?
the gaming developers. I was thinking like maybe it was Warner Brothers because it's mostly, at least at this stage, just about the teaser trailers and stuff. All this, cinematic stuff, which Warner Brothers might probably have more of a hand in it than the actual gaming side of things. So I think
Yeah,
this could be why, since Warner Brothers obviously they make film, and these trailers, there's that's kind of their thing, I guess. So that's
yeah,
like my
right.
theory on it, maybe. And like maybe when the game comes around, then Niantic would start contacting creators instead of Warner Brothers. But who knows?
Yeah, who knows? I mean, as you've already mentioned, we're in uncharted territories,
Hmm.
just with the way that the third trailer was disseminated amongst the Muggles or the Wizards and Witches. Another thing to note that if you are immersed into the speculation games,
Hmm.
there's actually three different trailers. And here are the differences. And so if anybody's listening and wants to do a video on this, here you go. I'm going to spoon feed you a video. The official trailer, the one that came out on Warner Brothers sites, has another like spell trace. What we're imagining is another like pattern that you would do a wand pattern for spells or whatever. My copy, the copy that I have, and the one that the handful of content creators that put it out early,
Hmm.
none of their videos have that on there. So that's new. So that's a difference.
Hmm.
Also, one of the content creators is from Germany, and his video after the opening sequence of kind of flashing through the Makuza clock,
Hmm.
the Portkey Games, the Wizards Unite logo, whatever. That one is muggle proofed by Constance Poughkeepsie or Duquesne, whatever name you want to throw in there. While the one that the people in the United States, the video that they put out, actually had Mathilda Grimblehawk signature at the
Hmm.
bottom of it. So there's three different versions of this trailer. It could mean something, it could mean nothing. Who knows? But just
Wow.
a little
Mhm.
nugget to keep in the back of your mind there.
I actually didn't know about the German version yet. It's like
Yeah.
is there some kind of, is there a ministry in Germany, magic ministry of magic in Germany? I actually don't know about that. But
Yeah, it's worth looking into.
Mhm.
And that question has actually been raised. I didn't see what the final answer was,
Mhm.
but somebody had mentioned whether the United States, which we know has, I don't remember what it's called, but it has a different set of governing rules
Mhm.
than European countries, and maybe that was the difference. But
Yeah,
as
Congress.
of right now, I don't know.
Mhm. That's very interesting. Well, I guess we could know more if they send them out to other different countries, so that might help in the future. Or it could just be like their German name. I don't know. Probably not. But yeah. Speaking of the third trailer, so you know, as you guys probably already know, they posted their third trailer, and this one's about a Niffler that's trapped in this. What are those called? Those games, coin pushing, arcade
It's a coin pushing, yeah, a coin pushing
thing.
game,
Yeah, which
arcade game,
which
yeah.
I personally do enjoy a lot when I go to arcades. For some reason, it takes no skill, but it's just satisfying. But yeah, and they're eating coins because it's a Niffler. So my first reaction to that was, oh. look, they're trying to tell people that uh, this isn't just about Harry Potter. Like Fantastic Beasts are going to be part of this as well. For those the general audience who aren't as don't follow the game as closely as some of us do, and Niffler is probably the most, I would say, the most popular of all the beasts in the Fantastic Beast franchise. So that's what I thought they were going for with the Niffler trailer.
Yeah, it's recognizable.
Mm-hmm.
You get something that's not threatening, something that's cute,
Mm-hmm.
and it appeals more to the masses. So I think it was a very calculated decision. I
Yeah.
also read somewhere that when there was like a Warner Brothers Harry Potter experience.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't augmented reality, but it was 3D slash or virtual reality slash augmented reality,
Mm-hmm.
and the featured beast in that was also a Niffler. So I think it was very on purpose that they chose the Niffler for
Mm-hmm.
the first video we have that is not typically an inanimate object, or
Yeah.
I guess a snitch is an animate object, but typically it's not. It should be an inanimate object.
Yeah.
Um, and
Mm-hmm.
then the Nimbus 2000s are definitely inanimate objects.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was very much on purpose.
Yeah, and you talked about it, but those first two are people would more associate those two with the Harry Potter franchise rather than say
Hmm.
the Fantastic Beasts franchise, and it really does seem like they're just trying to link these two franchises together because not obviously I think Harry Potter has a more larger following. I think it's pretty fair to say that it has a more larger following than Fantastic Beasts. So um, you
Yeah,
know, people who read or watched Harry Potter, um, there are some people who don't know that Beasts actually exists. So they're probably trying to introduce people to that as well, and
yeah, for sure.
and obviously the Beasts do play a pretty big, or I wouldn't say big, but they are going to play a role in the game because that's what they talked about in one of their press releases. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's probably what they're going for. And
Yeah, for sure.
mm, they pushed out the first one with a very recognizable beast. I I mean, it wouldn't make too much sense if they pushed out like a beast that's like not really well known or like a completely new one. If they are trying to like capture the general public's attention on this. So how many views does that trailer even have right now? Let me check real fast
Um, on the official site,
on the official site.
I want to say
Oh,
it's in the like thousands, but I'm not sure exactly how many. Like
yeah,
3,500 to 5,000,
I'm
somewhere
on
in there.
their page right now. It's what 9.7 thousand?
Oh wow. Okay, so it's gone up a lot in the last few days.
Huh, I guess, but that could be due to the fact that they did give this out to certain YouTubers beforehand, and people already saw it on other people's channels, which makes sense, I guess.
Could be,
Mm-hmm.
definitely could be. I it's really tough because a product that isn't out yet, and
Mm-hmm.
so it was kind of, hey, look at this, a new Pokemon game,
Huh.
and then you started seeing groups of people walking around at the park. You're like, what are you guys doing? Playing Pokemon Go. Oh, well,
Mm-hmm.
I want to do that, I think.
Yeah.
And so it kind of makes sense. Now we have a new game that, unless you're in the mobile gaming world or
Mm-hmm.
you're just a huge Harry Potter fan, like it's not mainstream. I don't
Yeah.
think the average Joe even knows that this is in the pipelines.
Yeah.
And I think it'll take something happening when the game launches, seeing people walking around and then being like, wait, are you guys playing Pokemon Go again? They're like, no, this is Wizards Unite. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I like Harry Potter. And then
Hmm.
then it'll start snowballing and becoming more mainstream after that.
Yeah. And speaking of, so that trailer was officially released on the channel, I guess. Officially, whatever officially means anymore. About 4 days ago. The second trailer, the Riderless Nimbus, was a month ago, and the first one, the Snitch, was 3 months ago. So, looking at this timeline, it I really wouldn't say we're gonna get a release or official release or I mean a global release or even a beta soon, because like just looking at these trailers, I don't think they're really they're obviously like trying to do something with these, and I don't think we've reached the conclusions for these trailers. Like I don't think we're even close. So I think in the future, or in the near future, we'd have probably more trailers before we even get any news of a beta or even or the global release of this game.
Yeah, I don't think we're really close to the global release at all.
Mm-hmm.
I I went back and was rewatching my early
Mm-hmm.
Wizards Unite videos, more out of sheer boredom than anything else, but also for research.
Mm-hmm.
And in my very first video, I was like, I don't see it coming out March. March was a huge
Yeah.
favorite,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I don't see it. I for whatever reason, I went into it in my video, but I said late June, early July. I have no reason to change that statement as of now. I can see the beta coming out in
Mm-hmm.
March and then having a 3 month beta. That's realistic to me. But you're right. We're nowhere near done with the story. And I think what these trailers are doing is I think they're building the base of the story that the game is going to be built on.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think there is more to the story. And you know, every time we get another teaser video, we get another nugget, another piece of
Mm-hmm.
what the game is going to be like and what the story is going to be like. And so we're not there on two. Unfortunately, I know a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people are eager for the game to come out, but
Yeah.
I would say I would say we have three more trailers to go, teaser trailers to go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I think the game will pick up where the
Mm-hmm.
final trailer leaves off.
Mm. Probably even a gameplay trailer about that.
Yeah, could
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, I don't know. I always thought March was more wishful thinking than anything else. I do agree with your look at the timeline. Honestly, I mean, I think the latest would have to be November. Like, I don't think they would go any later than that. Well, it is in 2019. There's only 1 month after that. I know it's not. I'm not saying too much, but um, I really wouldn't see them trying to push this thing out around Christmas time. That would be a bit too late. And if we were looking at the timeline in general, that would drag on a bit too long. Like if they're like really dropping like a trailer, let's say a trailer a month, and like they're gonna drop like 11 more trailers before it comes out, like that's a bit too much. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna come out as early as March, but I also don't think it's gonna come out as late as say December, which
No, and
hmm
like you mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, with playing in the rainy season, no, you're with all due respect to everybody in the southern hemisphere, because I know
hmm
that they get upset by this, but
yeah.
the the majority of the Earth's population is in the northern hemisphere,
hmm
and so releasing a game when a majority of the Earth's population, which is going to be their target audience,
hmm
is able to go outside and play the game in comfortable weather is your goal for an augmented reality game. It's going to ask you to go out and be in nature. And so doing it when the majority of schools have released for the school year for summer break
hmm
before they go back for school.
hmm
And then when people are taking vacations outside, exploring the world around them, inherently, that would be the ideal time to drop a game like this. And
hmm
yeah, I just feel like you get them hooked during the summer and they'll keep playing through the winter. Chicago was really cold this year. I remember I was doing
Yeah.
Jurassic World live videos
Hmm.
and people would comment on my videos and say, I can't go outside. It's negative 50 degrees out
Yeah.
there right now. Nobody is going outside to play a brand new game. They shouldn't go outside if they're playing a game that they're hooked on. But as soon as it warms up a little bit, they're gonna dress up and then go outside and play the game. And that's when you got to capture them is when the weather's nice.
Yeah, that's a great point, and that reminds me, another AR geolocation based game, Ghostbusters World. They released last year at around Halloween, which fits the theme of the game, but it really isn't the most ideal, season that you want to release it in. Like that's that late in the year, for a game that wants you to go out and play, and when the majority of their player base is in the northern hemisphere. I just didn't think that was really a good move. Although, to be fair to Ghostbusters World, you don't have to go out as much as say some other AR games to be have at least a decent progress in it. But still, it didn't really end up too well for them. I don't think so.
Well, in you being in Canada, you were able to do the beta test for Jurassic World Alive,
Mm-hmm.
and that came out in March or April for beta. Is that
Late
right?
late March.
Late March.
Yeah.
And then the game, it was in beta for, do you remember, was it 6 weeks or 2 months?
March. Let's say April, May, 2.5 months or so.
Okay, so between 8 and 10 weeks, and even Jurassic World Alive, they even launched in late June, mid June.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think everything, the point of all that is if you are going to release a game that's going to ask people to go outside, I think the two ideal months or the three ideal months are going to be May, June, and July. I
Yes.
think is
Mm-hmm.
is your window of opportunity to get people hooked on your game.
Yeah.
And so I think for a game with as much anticipation as this, I can see the beta coming out before, but
Mm-hmm.
not worldwide, obviously. And
Yeah.
then worldwide release or global release, if there are some countries excluded. I think everything points to May, June, July. I'm just going to say June, July.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You set yourself up for success if you do it that way.
I completely agree with that timeline. With the a few months ahead, 2 or 3 months ahead, for a beta, which hopefully will come soon. So
Hopefully.
yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this episode. Thank you, Far, for coming on again. Thank you guys for tuning in to Muggle Minute, and exciting times ahead. I'd say. We got our third trailer. Warner Brothers is making moves, so I would expect new things coming soon, and we're getting closer and closer to May, June, July, those 3 months, and yeah, fun times, fun times. So yeah, anyways, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time then.